the struggle of living in a place where internet connection just doesn't work sometimes, and that's kind of where I'm at. So anyway, I'm back, and I'm going to try this again. I know I had some people tune in at the last half of the last one. I deleted it, so it doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, I assume it exists somewhere, and the government can find it, but it's not on my Facebook page anymore. So I'm going to start over because I'm talking about making connections this week and giving you something I hope that you can practically do at the end of this thing, maybe this week, to help with your program, whether it's a math program or a speech program or a cross-country program or whatever it is that you're working on. I have a lot to talk about with recruiting, but recruiting is more of a topic that I'm going to discuss down the road, and recruiting, like right when it comes time to recruit for your club or to recruit for classes for the coming year. It's like, I know there's like this big push in that month or that week to get kids to sign up and join things, but I want to talk about a little bit more is making connections a little bit every day, and just some things to keep in mind that I'm sure we all already know. I was just kind of reminded of it over the weekend. So this weekend I had a little project to do. I had neighbors who had like their downspouts coming down from the back of their house, and I live on behind them on a hill, so they're like up here and I'm down here. Anyway, so they took their downspouts and they all their water was coming to my backyard, and it was causing some problems. So it dug a rut on the hill, and anyway, long story short, like it was like this mud waterfall that would come down and would rain really heavy, and my backyard would be full of mud, and I don't really like it very much. So anyway, I was like, well, I need to get this water somewhere else. And so we moved into this house a long time ago, 10 years ago or something like that. And my father-in-law is like the Jedi master of tiling. So up in Iowa, ran a tiling business, helping farmers out and working with them for a long, long time. My wife helped him when she was younger, work the tiling machine and backhoe. And anyway, like when we moved into our house, we had a lot of water problems with drainage, and so we dug lots of tile in the ground. I was a very good worker. I took orders very, very well. It was definitely my father-in-law's show. He was great at it. I am 1/20th of the tiler he was. Anyway, but I knew there was a water problem and needed to figure something out. So he was down a few weeks ago, and we talked about it. He gave me some ideas on what to do and how to do it. And so I decided, well, I need to do it this weekend. Unfortunately, he couldn't come down and kind of project manage and lead the thing. He and his, my mother-in-law were like grand marshals in the homecoming parade at North Mahaska. Very, very cool. Anyway, I'm sure he said he couldn't come down and help me dig all day Saturday, but I was like, all right, I got to get this done. It's the Rutgers game. I can do this project with a little help during the Rutgers game, because that'll be a blowout. My Hawkeyes. Anyway, so I knew I couldn't do it myself. It was like 150 feet of attaching two little eave spouts and running them down the hill and everything. And I'm like, I don't know who I'm going to ask. But I knew my neighbor had a couple, they're freshman boys, and they're mowing his yard. They started like over the summer. And I didn't know them well, but they were nice kids. They came over and talked to me quite a bit. Wrestlers here at the school. I knew they went to North, and so we kind of talked about that. And so I said to them a couple weeks ago, I said, hey, I got this job. It's digging into the ground. I didn't really tell them exactly what it was, but I said I need like some digging done, some tiling, and kind of showed them what I wanted to do, and said, if you guys want to come on this Saturday, I'd love some help, hire you for the day. And so they said, okay, didn't think it would be too bad. And so we spent Saturday, me and these two freshmen, and again, not in journalism programs or anything like that, but we got probably 3 or 4 hours into the job, and they got a little more comfortable, like asking questions and talking. Again, you spend a lot of time digging, so you got to talk about something, right? And so they got asking me like, well, what was my job and what did I do and what was the journalism program about? And so I started telling them about some of those things. And, after a little bit of conversation, they both were like, oh man, that sounds so great. Totally going to sign up for that. It sounds like a lot of fun. And, they talked about the paper that had just come out the week before and things like that. And, a little later on, I actually needed to call in a relief pitcher. I needed some reinforcements to come. So I did check with one of my staffers to come in who they knew, and They thought he was a rock star, which he is, the other one that I brought in. And I think that kind of helped seal the deal. And so long story short here is, like, while I had this tiling project over the weekend, I also think I picked up 2 kids for my journalism program. And what it reminded me of is that recruiting really isn't just about, making a crazy push that week when scheduling comes out, or the week when you're trying to get people out for your basketball team or your football team or your volleyball team. Recruiting really is like an everyday thing. And it's not a hard sell thing. It's just being nice, and it's about making connections, and it's about talking to people. And, I take this, I mentioned my father-in-law, but my dad also was like incredible with helping shape me, like, in part of this too. Like, he works for Northwestern Mutual, and he has for a long, long time, and is amazing at what he does. But I knew, like in 7th grade, going around selling magazines in Washington, Iowa, for some fundraiser thing we had to do, that salesmanship was totally not my thing. It stressed me out. I didn't like it at all. But my dad, he's really good at it. And the thing that I really admire and respect about him is he's never a hard sell on things. He just works to make connections with people, and, things end up happening. And I think it really, over the weekend, reminded me, just as I was working with those 2 boys and talking with them, and realizing I honestly do think, unless they collapsed after all the digging that we did, and I don't see them at school today, I think I really did make a nice connection with them over the weekend. And I honestly think they'll probably be enrolled in the journalism class, if not next semester, next year for sure. And I think it's just those little things, even this year. And I've talked about switching rooms. I love being downstairs in the basement, in the dungeon, in room 026, but moving up here to 105 and 131 and 129 and 105A and all these crazy things that are outside the Learning Commons. One of the things that I've noticed and I've loved the most is I've probably said more to kids between classes, walking through the halls, and made more connections with students, and probably met more students the first 7 weeks of school than I probably have some years in an entire year. Because I didn't see that many kids downstairs, there wasn't as much traffic down there, and I'm really trying to make a concerted effort to get out there and just say hi to people. And so again, while I will talk recruiting later on, like when it becomes more relevant here in November and December for the majority of us in journalism programs, I really can't stress enough, it's about making connections every day. And it's doing things to reach out and to say hi and just get to know people. And I think that's just, it's got to be a natural, you want to get to know people and you want to reach out. Anyway, so that's what it is. Oh, and so do that. Make some connections this week. Do something. I know I'm kind of all over the place right now here, but anyway, make some connections this week. Do something you don't normally do. Get out into the hall a little bit more. Talk to somebody maybe you don't normally talk to, and just take an interest, and you never know where those things will lead. So it's homecoming week here. It's why I got the black rim glasses on. It's like a cosmic theme thing. It's perfect because I get to wear Star Wars stuff like every day. There's a cosmic theme. I don't care what the theme day is. I'm totally wearing Star Wars. And that's kind of my plan. So it should be good. I'll tell you how homecoming goes. Here at North this week. Next weekend, it's the Iowa Northwestern game. I'm not even going to pretend like I know how that's going to go. Anyway, I'll be there. It'll be a good time. But the Hawkeyes, I don't know. Anyway, make some connections this week. Have a good one, and I'll see you back here Monday. Thanks.